Hi, I'm Dave Gardy from Maritime TV from our studios here near Washington, D.C. for this Ballast Water Management Report. With me via Skype right now from New York is Steve Candito, CEO of Ecochlor. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Hey Dave, how are you this afternoon?
Good. I just wanted to ask a question about the installation schedule. What do you see as the progression for the installation schedule of ballast water treatment systems over the next 5 years?
Well, Dave, this is a very important point, right? When the regulators brought the regulations in, they recognized that if there was a hard deadline of just a particular date, the industry wouldn't be able to handle that. Number one, the ballast water treatment system manufacturers wouldn't be able to produce enough in time. And frankly, there probably wouldn't have been enough shipyard capacity to install all the systems by a set deadline. So what they envisioned was a 5-year phase-in period. And to benefit, I think, the owners and conserve expense and be reasonable at expenses, they tied the phase-in period with the vessel's IOPP certificate, the International Oil Pollution Prevention Certificate, which is also tied in with the ship's regular 5-year dry dock schedule. So the plan was that these systems would be installed over a 5-year period, and basically meaning that 20% a year would be installed over the 5-year period. And I think that would have made things reasonable for all the ballast water manufacturers and certainly reasonable for the shipyards. But what we're seeing is that 5-year phase-in period may not happen, I think, the way the regulators anticipated.
So give us some perspective of the problems you see with the installation schedule as it's shaping up over the next 5 years.
Yeah, so there's some very interesting data coming out of the classification societies, DNV in particular. That's some that we've looked at very closely. And so where we start with thinking that you're going to have about 20% a year, and if you say there are, something on the order of 40,000 ships out there and 20% a year, you're going to have, maybe 800 a year, coming in. Well, what we're seeing right now under this DNV data is that in 19, our current year, there were maybe 200 that were going to happen. Next year in 2020, maybe 500 will happen. But then in 2021, you get to maybe 700. But now you're way behind schedule from the 800. And what happens is you hit a peak in 2022 where there's maybe 3,000 systems that have to be installed. And then you get into 2023 and 2024 where it comes back down. You're back down to maybe 700 or 800, which is sort of an anticipated number, and then maybe 500 in that last year. And so what this is shaping up is rather than a smooth installation schedule of maybe 20% or 800 or so a year, you're going to have a peak year in 2022 where they're expecting to install 3,000 systems. And I don't know that the ballast water treatment system manufacturers can keep up. And I'm fairly certain that the shipyards can't keep up. I mean, the ballast water manufacturers can figure out some ways to manufacture more systems, but we're not building more dry docks. People aren't going to build more dry docks to handle this. So I think there's a real shipyard availability, dry dock availability in 2022 for ballast water treatment systems that the industry really needs to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and we're showing that on the screen right now, the DNV analysis graphically. But what can a company like you, Ecochlor, do to accommodate this issue?
Well, we're certainly trying to help out our clients, and we are right now. Our typical lead time is about 6 months, and we've been maintaining that even though we've got a huge backlog and orders are coming in all the time. But because of that, we are now in the process of qualifying other sub-vendors and see if we can shorten up that 6-month lead time a little bit. And if we can't shorten it up, at least make sure we can meet the demand for what we're going to have come next year and then into 2021 and 2022. So we're very confident that we're going to be doing our part to help the ship owners out, meet this schedule. But I'm hoping that they'll anticipate this and maybe do things a little bit earlier, if not actually install them earlier, certainly plan the installation process earlier. And I think everybody should be talking to shipyards and dry docks to make sure that they're going to have the availability to put these systems in when the time comes.
All points well taken. We've been talking to Steve Candito, who's CEO of Ecochlor, for this Ballast Water Management Report. Steve, thanks for joining us via Skype from New York.
Thank you, Dave. Good talking to you again.
I'm Dave Gardy from Maritime TV from our studios near Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us for this report.